Too many talented professionals end up with drastically less interesting, ambitious, and rewarding careers than they deserve. They simply don't rise to the level that they expected. Every professional is surrounded by systems that help them get great at doing the work. But at some point, the mindsets and the moves that made them successful actually get in the way of them reaching the next level. How they handled emails stops working. Their expectations for preparation, client communication, feedback, everything they mastered to get where they're at isn't just different from what they need to do going forward. It's the exact opposite. To take a step back, there's two incorrect approaches most people take when this happens. The first approach, which I talk about in my book, Gift to Grow, is that most people simply double down on what's already working. Early in your career, you had to acquire skills and become an expert in your profession. You've probably already spent 10 or more years honing your expertise so that you can solve complicated client problems. But being great at executing only gets you so far. I've seen this time and time again. I and my teams have trained over 50,000 professionals, lawyers, consultants, accountants, architects, engineers in all kinds of different industries, healthcare, nonprofit executives, outsourcing, and even with small business owners. No matter how hard you push, you can get stuck at a level that's far below your expectations. The second mistake people make is simply thinking they need to work smarter, focus on the highest value activities, and delegate everything else. Working smarter will get you leverage. It will increase your efficiency, but it won't transform your career. If you only focus on what you're already good at, working harder or smarter within those skills, you're going to get stuck. The secret to longer-term success and impact, the people who have achieved the top 1% in their career, is what I call the shift. If you want to model top performers, you're going to have to go through the shift. Before the shift, you are doing the work, answering questions, solving problems on time, on budget, and on point, creating certainty for your clients. But to get through the shift, you have to add a new skill, creating possibility, the exact opposite of what you've been doing. Not through doing the work, but through winning the work. When you're doing the work, you're driving towards what everyone has already agreed is possible. But when you're winning the work, you're helping everyone understand what is possible. So how do we do that? Here's a graphic from Gift to Grow that depicts the most important things to make it through the shift, from doing the work to winning the work. Let's walk through each. First, your expectations for client responding. When you're doing the work, you expect 100% of your emails to get answered. You need certain data inputs to get the work done. You need their answers. But when you're winning the work, you should expect hardly any emails to get answered. For example, you might invite somebody to a webinar or send an article to them. Crickets. And that's okay. This can be really disorienting for somebody that's just at the beginning of the shift. They're used to 100% responses, and here they need to expect nothing. Next, let's talk about your outreach, especially emails. When you're doing the work, emails should be long, having the 7 things you need to get the senior leadership team readout done by next Thursday. But when you're winning the work, your emails should be very short and offer helpfulness. A rule of thumb is 50 words or less. Now, this can feel completely different because you need to toggle and think about which mode you're in and whether you're sending the long email or the short one. Now, let's talk about your comfort with client communications. When you're doing the work, everything's comfortable. You can predict what's going to happen. You've seen the situation 1,000 times before. There's hardly ever a question from the client that you don't know the answer to. When you're winning the work, things can feel really uncomfortable. They might bring up a topic you've never heard about. You might not know the answers to some questions. That's okay. It's getting comfortable with this uncomfortableness and being willing to go find the answer and circle back with it that makes everything work great. Next, let's talk about what wins in meetings. When you're doing the work, the right answers win because you're driving toward that certain outcome that the client's already hired you to do. But when you're winning the work, the right questions are going to win. The right questions are going to help you determine their priorities in their words and also allow you to bring some insights to them about things that they might not even think were possible. All of this is going to drive towards a new level of possibility. And this leads us right into how to prepare. When you're doing the work, you want to go in with a ton of information, a long PowerPoint deck, things that we're going to drive to the certainty that you've all agreed to. You've got the information. But when you're winning the work, you actually want to go in with a blank page. You're a detective. You're trying to figure out what the next possibility is. But if you come in then with a ton of slides of information, you're actually going to block your progress to finding the best answer. And this mindset shift even applies to giving things away. When you're doing the work, you give away very little. You want to manage things to scope, to a predefined budget. But when you're winning the work, you actually want to give away as much as you need to create momentum. The good news about this one is it's actually quite enjoyable. The trick is you want to give away just enough and not too much so that you can increase your velocity to create new possibility. Next, let's talk about feedback. When you're doing the work, it's quick, consistent. But when you're winning the work, it's slow and irregular. And here's the last one, how you get rewarded. When you're doing the work, the rewards come quickly from clients. When you're winning the work, it might not come at all or be a long time from now. So the key to success in this mindset shift is focusing on what you can control, doing it, and letting that be the reward in itself. Basically, the thing that unites all of these winning the work mindsets is that you're doing something that isn't guaranteed. You're creating possibilities, a generous act. And this leads us to the most important thing you want to keep in mind. Giving first. When you give first, your time, your expertise, your network, it creates the opportunity to grow. It's a totally different mindset, but it's what it takes to go from wherever you're at to wherever you want to go. My latest book, Give to Grow, breaks down everything you need to know to make it through the shift and beyond. And you'll want to watch the next video in the series because I'm going to walk you through a 5-minute quiz that will show you the top 5 roadblocks professionals have that get in their way of career advancement. Click this video to watch more. Thanks for watching. Enjoy.